It is a gloriously beautiful day in the southern mountains of Appalachia. We've had rain all week. I think we had one day that it didn't rain. Our wet weather pattern has continued. Our yard is a muddy, mucky mess. Everything is. The driveways are. We even had a few landslides yesterday in Cherokee County, so just sopping wet is what our earth is here in the southern mountains of Appalachia. But today the sun is shining, the sky is blue. It's supposed to be dry all day today and all day tomorrow. So that's just wonderful, wonderful news for us, for everyone, but especially for us because we love to be outside. It is too muddy to do a whole lot today, but what we've been working on this morning is we did go ahead and buy more beds, so Matt's been putting them together. We're starting down here on the kind of the lower end that Thomas graded out for us, scooped out the places for the bed, because these are going to be smaller ones. Then as we work our way back in the back, we're going to try to, some of the parts we didn't use for these, we're going to try to use for those and kind of extend them and make them larger. So if you watched our first video, you've already noticed these are a different color. When I ordered them, I never even thought about the color. I never even looked. I knew they come in different colors, but I just didn't. I guess in my mind, I just assumed they would be green like the other ones and never even paid attention and just ordered them and still never thought about it till Matt opened the first one. So these are like a cream color, but I like them. I like this color actually a little bit better just because I think it will kind of blend in more as the, you know, as the outsides get dirty and kind of fade a little bit, that they blend into the landscape more. But the green ones are really pretty too, and we're gonna leave them right where they are. If you've watched my videos a lot, you know that I don't worry about how things look as much as I worry about how they work, or when it comes to food, how it tastes. So I'm not sure we'll be able to do much else today as far as working outside, but at least we'll get these beds in place, and once Matt gets that done and we eat some dinner, then we'll see what else, if anything, we can do. So you can see the two beige ones that he's put up. Then there's a space. Then you can kind of see the two green ones there in the distance. So we've got to get one more smaller one for here. I think Matt's going to do some measuring and then see how much larger we can use the extra pieces. We'll have some extra pieces from both of these. They're slightly smaller. And then we can make those in the back, those two great old big beds. Then we'll have extra space to make those even longer is our plan. We'll see how it works out, but that's what we're thinking. Hard and rocky. Better? Somewhat. They look nice. Hard to see that they're not level from down here. And once you get the dirt in them, I'm sure that'll help keep them in place too. Of course, you want them to be as level as.
I just don't want them to be one side real high on the end and it puts a twist in.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what I was trying to get
What
out.
you're trying to fix, not necessarily make it dead level.
Once we get the dirt in them, then I'll go around the outside where you can see in there. We'll dirt inside them. I'll go around the outside and mulch and close that gap.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I think that's just as, I mean, it's going to be just fine, and it's a whole lot easier than trying to level that rock.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah.
So we'll just mulch around every one
Yeah.
on the outside of them, and then they'll let them make them look good.
Yeah, and I think that'd be fine. Probably be good to put mulch actually all around it anyway. Give us a place when we're up there standing, whether we're planting or harvesting,
Keep the weeds down.
and keep the weeds down. Yeah. This bed down here on the very end, as the bank progresses, it's less red clay. This one is pure red clay. I don't think I've ever had anything. I think I've tried to plant like I had a bush there. I can't think of the name of it. It blooms in the spring. Now that I've thought about it, I've not seen that bush in 2 or 3 years. It had the prettiest little blooms on it. I'm going to have to remember what it was. Anyway, and then I had a piece of Granny Gazzy's rose bush down here, and I don't think neither one of them never done any good because I didn't try to enrich the dirt. I just planted them right in that red clay, and they never did any good. But having that tall, I think these are 17 inches high, so 17 inches high we'll put some compost in the bottom, maybe some old logs or something like that, and then good dirt and good compost. I think it'll grow. I think it'll be good. Here's one of my favorite little wildflowers. I have them growing in a few places in my yard. This is in one of my flower beds, but they are bloodroots. Isn't it a pretty little bloom? And you can see, if you look underneath, see their little leaf there? It's kind of curled up around the stem, kind of keeping it warm is what I always think. That leaf, there's a better view of that one, will continue to grow. And once the flower is through blooming, every petal will just fall off and it'll just be laying all the way around the little plant. And then that leaf will start growing and it will get larger and larger. It'll kind of get as big as my hand almost. And you can see see on this one, it's lobed, how lobed it is and funny kind of looking there. It'll get really large and then it'll just fade away by the time real summer gets here. And you won't even, you'll never know it was there until this time next year when they bloom again. Bloodroot was used a lot in medicinal recipes. I don't know much about it, but I do know that it was used for that. And then also it was used, the roots were used to dye, hence the name bloodroot. If you dig it up and you kind of crush the root, or even the stem, if you kind of crush it, it has like a reddish hue to it. So here's the bloodroot that I saw a week or so ago and I shared in a video. You can see here's the little petals that have fallen off. You can see here's the stem they were on. They've just all fallen off on the ground, like I said. And then behind that, you can see that beautiful leaf. And it will continue to grow, as I said, and sometimes they get as big as my hand, but it'll get much bigger than this. And it's so pretty. I think the leaf is as pretty as the bloom. This one's out in the sunshine more than the one that I showed you just a moment ago, so that's why it's a little bit further ahead. It bloomed earlier, and then it's lost its blooms earlier as well.
That's soft. That'll work.
The first daffodils that bloomed are starting to look a little raggedy around the edges, but they're still pretty. The rain's kind of tattered them, especially the hard rain that we had yesterday, but they're still pretty. Over the years, what's happened is that so much of my flowers up here on the top, we have where this ends is just a really steep bank that goes down into the woods. So what's happened over the years, maybe when I was cleaning out the garden beds or we were moving dirt, this bank provides just the perfect place to throw it. You just throw it over the bank and you don't think about it. You don't have to haul it off to somewhere else. Sometimes we put it in the compost and stuff like that, but a lot of times it just for the sake of being in a hurry, it just gets thrown over the bank. Well, you can see what's happened over time. I've got flowers growing down the bank. You can see those blooming right there. There's some more other clumps down there. Then when I was coming over here to look, I noticed there's a piece of paper from our roof that's blowed down there when the men were working on the roof, so I need to climb down there and get it. But these that bloom on the bank, I always think of them as kind of like my cutting garden. I hate to cut these up here, that's right in the yard, in my flower beds, because you see them out the window. You see them when you're coming in and out of the house, when you drive up in the car. But these off the bank, you can't really see. They're hidden. So it doesn't bother me to climb down there and cut them and take them inside the house because nobody's really enjoying them. I told Corey she was wanting some. She said she wished she had some daffodils, and I said, well, come here and let me show you. So even right here where I'm at, there's like 3-4 clumps right there. I said, you can dig up any of those. They've just naturalized over the years and take them with you. This is the other end of the bank, and I see a Lenten rose blooming down there. I see several different little clumps of daffodils. I have several different varieties, so those are probably later blooming ones. I see some irises. I even see a little holly tree down there. I don't know how that got there. So I'm going to remind Corey, if she's sure-footed enough to climb down the bank and dig, she can take all these flowers home with her. We went in and had a really nice dinner. Corey's getting to stay with us this weekend. Austin's traveling out of town, and she made some wonderful deer burger. She used ground deer meat, but kind of made a taco mix for us. So it had some peppers and some seasoning and some onions in it. I made me and Matt a taco bowl. It was really, really good. Now we've come back out to finish the beds, but instead of going back to the basement, we've moved our operation to back here on the back deck where the sun's shining. That way we can feel the sunshine, and then as Matt puts them together, we'll be closer to the 2 beds that's left that we need to fill. Nice. So we used some of the panels from the 2 shorter ones that we did at the beginning of the day to make this one a longer one. The next one will be longer too, the one we've got left. It won't be hardly this long. And as you can see, there's still space on each end. So Matt had some thoughts about that. He said we could put grow bags there, or we could build something. So we'll see. We'll decide that, but at least we've got most of the space took up with a really long bed. That looks great. And we can figure out what to do at each end. A grow bag would pretty much fill up that, well, really both ends, wouldn't it? One of the biggest grow bags?
Yeah. I think so. Put a big bag at each end.
Yeah. I'll bring it. You think that one's big enough? Is it wider, like for two? If you put it all the way at one end?
It might be. It'd be big enough for just another regular one, not extended.
Yeah.
If you want to buy another.
Yeah, well.
Then you want me to set it that way? How's that look?
Looks good. I like it. A lot. For that one, and if we put another one beside it, a lot of this old rotted stuff right here that was in that brush pile, we can throw that in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
When Matt was putting up the last bed, I noticed these little hyacinths blooming right here on the bank. I didn't plant them there, but somehow they've ended up there, likely when I threw something up on the bank or maybe moved something this way and didn't realize the bulbs were included in whatever I moved. This is mint here in this edge of this bed. Last year there was one little thing, and then you can see how it's spread. I probably can't leave all of it in here unless I want it to take over, but it's nice to know it's here. The girls and Matt love to make tea out of it. I just love to crush it and smell it. It smells good. In between all the rain we've had, I've still been draining out the irises. So it's still really muddy and soupy in our backyard. This is that area where the herb bed was, and I keep looking every day to see if I can see anything else coming up. The oregano, it's even grew a little bit since last week. And then I noticed some of the yarrow, right there's yarrow, so it's coming up. So I'm still keeping my eye out for the valerian. It wouldn't be time yet if I was going to see any dill or cilantro. Still not warm enough for them. And doubtful that I'll see them. We come out to be in the sunshine to on the deck, and the sunshine left us, and then it got cold again. This is like one of the quintessential March days. The sunshine feels really, really warm, almost hot, and the shadows and the wind is cold.
Yep.
All you got to do is get out of the sunshine to be like, man, it's not as warm as what I thought it was.
And a little dab of breeze is chilly.
Yeah, still a cold March wind blowing. Even though the sunshine felt so nice. It's been a beautiful day, though.
Yep.
If we could just have about a week like this, it might dry things out. Dry the swamp out.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get a week. We had a week like that in
months
last
yeah.
year.
Dry the swamp out in the backyard.
Yeah.
So Matt's put in a full day's work just working on the beds, and he don't feel good today. He's what we call peaked or puny or dauncy, all those things.
I reckon.
Yeah, he's got a cold, so he's not feeling the best.
Sicker than a poison pup.
Yeah, you ain't that sick. But you don't feel your usual spry self.
No, I ain't too peart today.
Yeah. I'm hoping he keeps it to himself and he doesn't share it with me.
I'll try to.
Yeah. Try to keep it, you mean?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it. You just gotta, don't be wallering all over me trying to get sugar and such stuff as that, you know.
Yeah, you're hard to resist.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
Yeah. What would we say? You had the epizooty?
Yeah, epizootic.
Yeah, people used to say that when I was in school. And I have a video about all the sickness names like that. Palpitus of the punk. That's one I just learned in the last few years from Suzanne's mother.
Consumption.
Consumption, yeah. Or the gripe. The crud, creeping crud. That's what we call it a lot, just to have an old nasty cold.
Yep. I ain't had one of these in a while. I don't even know where I got it.
No, you might be like Shannon, one of my friends. She says she gets a cold every spring and every fall when the weather changes.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to be like her.
I hope not.
Yeah. She says she just knows it's coming, just to expect it.
Yep.
A cold is it's minor, but it's enough to make you feel bad. Anything affects your breathing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I dreamed the night before last I was choking.
Yeah.
It woke me up. I don't usually, dreams don't wake me up usually, but that one did.
They wake me up, and then I wake Matt up.
Yeah.
When I have a nightmare. My nightmares are usually, even if it's not somebody trying to get me, it's that I'm trying to scream and I can't scream. That's the terror part, is that I can't make myself scream when I need help. One time, it might be that I'm falling off a ladder and Matt's right there and I just need to say help me and I can't say help me. That's the terror. And when that happens, I usually wake Matt up. You can do the impression?
No, not today.
Matt's got an impression he does of me. Sounds like a ghost from the Scooby-Doo cartoon. Yeah. But it's me trying to scream, and I just think if I could scream, I'll be okay, but I can't never scream, and it just puts me I'm like trying to get myself to scream.
Sounds like a drunk screech owl or something.
Yeah. What day was that old saying, like drunk as a bulled owl or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I forgot that one, but I
Yeah.
remember hearing that lots back in the day.
I do kind of sound like a screech owl, though, your
Yeah.
impersonation of me. If you've never heard a screech owl, it's a pretty eerie kind of sound.
Especially in the middle of the night in the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I guess so.
And it usually comes with a certain amount of kicking and flailing of the arms,
Yeah.
in which I usually get one to the face.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We were still living with Granny and Pat when we were first married. Matt dreamed some kind of dream. He was fighting somebody in that dream, and he actually punched me in his sleep. Yeah. It didn't hurt me bad. It just made me mad, made me furious, because it woke me up, and then I'm like, why are you hitting me?
That's my story anyway.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Gosh, yeah.
It's when you're asleep at night like that, though, everything's so fuzzy, and you wake up, you don't really know what's going on, so you just go right back to sleep. Usually when Matt wakes me up when I'm having a nightmare like that, and then I cling to him until I fall back asleep.
Yeah.
Because then I'm all out of sorts when I wake up thinking, oh gosh, it was just a dream, and it's okay, and relief and panic and adrenaline, all that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a barrel of fun.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you stay with me.
Well, you're a pretty good gal, so I'll just stay with you.
Pretty good cook.
Absolutely.
You like to eat.
The
It's
best.
a plus.
Yeah.
Corey's a pretty good little cook, too. What she made for lunch was awful good.
Gosh, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I hit the spot.
I put a bunch of hot sauce on mine trying to open up my head.
Yeah. You have to use your, what do you call it? You and Katie do?
Neti pot.
Neti pot. Yeah, Matt and Katie both use neti pots. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm too chicken to try it.
Well, it ain't bad. Just like getting water up your nose at the pool.
I know, and I don't like that.
Well, that's not that bad.
No.
I mean, it's not really that bad because it's just in one side at a time.
Yeah.
But
It opens up your sinuses.
Yeah, what it
though.
does for you is it's amazing. I've had that thing for probably 20 years, and I hadn't used it in the last 15.
Yeah.
And then Katie started doing it, and I thought, well, I haven't tried that in a long time, and now I'm kind of back on it. I like it.
Katie has allergies, and before I had Katie and Corey, I was somebody, I'd never had allergies, and really been around anybody that did, and I foolishly thought, that's just probably all in people's heads. They don't really have allergies. And I learned my lesson with Katie. From day one, things affected her. She's allergic to all kinds of stuff, but especially as she got 4, 5, 6 years old, and we'd go to a new place, and someplace we'd never been before that was maybe like a camper that had been shut up. I'm thinking of deer camp, and of course dust and different pollen and all those kind of things. She'd instantly be sick. It was just, she made a believer out of me. I was foolish not to really believe other people, but she was too little to even know what was happening, but to us it was evident, and because Corey wouldn't get sick. And on the flip side, if they did get sick at school, when they first went to school, because they'd been at home, they didn't go to preschool or anything like that, they caught everything. They hadn't really been exposed to that much, so they'd get a cold or even a little virus or something, and Corey would just bounce right back, and Katie would just get worse. Go straight to Katie's lungs every time. So finally, I guess when she was in kindergarten, she had bronchitis 5 times between when school started and Christmas. And I was just ready to pull my hair out, because I'm I keep everything clean. I try to get her to, I try to do everything I can to protect her. But then her doctor finally diagnosed her with a slight case of asthma, and that prevented her from getting over, when her and Corey would get the little cold at school, Katie couldn't get over it as easy. Anyway, we had a time, didn't we, with her?
Yeah, and then the breathing treatments came along, and then she'd just go insane with those.
Yeah, she'd just give us the medicine, make her just react.
It was like a steroid that she inhaled, and then she would just get mean.
Yeah, she got mean, and she was so little, it would just be, we never got mad at her, of course, anyway, but even when you were just so tired at midnight wanting her to go to sleep, she would just be so crazy, you'd just have to laugh. There's just nothing you could do but roll on the floor and laugh at her.
Yeah.
She'd just get she's already argumentative. She'd been like that since she was born, so she'd get to fussing about she wasn't going to go to bed or whatever it was, and yeah, she'd give us a run for our money in those days.
Yep.
Bless her heart, though, it's because she felt so bad, and I remember one time her doctor told me, I said, she's just so tired. He said, well, you'd be tired too if you couldn't breathe. I thought, well, yeah, he's right. If I couldn't breathe, I'd be tired. But thankfully, she and he thought that she would, she kind of grew out of all that. By the time she was probably, 10 or 11 or something, she kind of just left all that behind. And then if she got sick, she fought it off just like Corey.
Yep.
And then, about 4 years ago or something, It's when they were doing landscaping still. When they were in college, they went to college, but they were also had little side jobs landscaping people's yards, like keeping them mowed and picking up after them. And they weren't like designing flower beds or anything. But she started having the same stuff all over again. And at first we just thought, well, it's because she's just, being exposed to something, or she just got sick or whatever. And then finally I realized, Katie, it may be that you're exposing yourself to stuff. And so it's kind of started her back on that journey that she'd been cured for all those years. Anyway, so the latest development, like Matt was saying, the neti pot, she started using it to try to help. One of her doctors told her that would really, really help her allergies. So
it seems to have.
It seems to have, yeah. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's no fun, though, for your little ones to be sick.
No, it's worrisome.
Yeah. We spent lots of nights sitting up with Katie thinking that, trying to get her, should we take her to the doctor? What should we do? Should we wait till morning? Should we?
Which one of them had the 104 fever? You remember that time?
I think they both had fevers like that.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, one time they got sick. Of course, Matt could take care of them, but Daddy's worried more because mothers are the ones usually they're in the trenches. One time I had to go on a business trip when I worked at the college. I had to go take a class in New Orleans, and like the day that I left, Corey started running she was older then, but started running like 104 fever, and she had strep throat. Remember that?
No.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm already here. I can't come back. Matt had to deal with it. They both of them had high fevers with flu and stuff like that before. One time we had been trick-or-treating, and Katie had just been so hard to handle all night, and they were probably maybe 6 or 7. And I was just fussing at her and getting on to her because she's just being so difficult. And then we got home and she had a fever like that. And I was like, I'm so sorry. No wonder you didn't. No wonder you weren't having fun.
Yeah.
You're miserable. You're sick. Yeah. It's nice when they get to the age where they quit being sick a lot, though. They kind of, I guess they quit, for our girls, they quit sticking their fingers in their mouths and licking door stops. Corey and Katie, when they were toddlers, could crawl around, they'd lick the door stops.
Yeah.
I don't know if they thought it was like a fountain or what they thought it was.
I don't know, but I always thought that was the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
I finally took them, unscrewed them out of the wall, and got rid of them.
Yeah, Matt took them all up. We didn't got them no more. He got tired of them licking on them.
Yeah.
It's funny what kids do.
Yep.
So we are pleased, though, even though it took us all day for Matt to get the beds done. And really, though, that's not that much time, considering one bed, the old way we used to do it, would have took all day.
Yeah.
And you done 5. Of course, we've not filled them up or anything like that yet, but just getting them put together.
I don't mind the filling them up and all that. It's that bent over and putting in 9,000 screws is no fun.
Yeah. So making 2 of them kind of shorter and then using the extra ones for these that could be longer, that worked out pretty good, I think, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this one bed over here does have room for another one. On this one, but I guess the one right behind us, there's not really room for another one, but there is extra room. So I really like Matt's ideal of putting some grow bags on either end.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do that pretty easily. And then maybe we can get one more to go by that one. And then we'll just be ready to fill them up. Of course, we were going to do, if we're going to build any in the yard, that's going to be, if we use the 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have to dry up a lot, though.
Yeah, it's a muddy mess.
It's just so messy. Yeah. We still hadn't really decided what we would put in them.
We'll decide when it gets a little closer, I guess.
Yeah. Those the smaller ones that we did down there, I almost wonder if we should put some kind of fruit in them, since they're kind of down there out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. So if we put, we could put blackberry or briars or raspberries. Our raspberries over here are just choked up. So that'd be a good place maybe to put them. Maybe dig some of them up and move them over there.
Yeah. We could do that.
Some of these up here, I got so many wonderful beans from our trip to Bryson Farm Supply. I want to try them. I know we can't try them all, but maybe over here we could put some cattle panels on some of these long ones and grow beans on them.
Yeah, it'd be good.
I'd love to try them, and I definitely want to grow the butter beans, so we need a place for them to grow, to climb. We loved the Mississippi pink eyes last year, so we might be able to plant some of them. They were so good.
Was good.
Yeah, we just adored them. And we didn't really grow enough. We grew enough to eat. We eat them. I think we saved some from seed, for seed, but we didn't grow enough to put up, like to put in a freezer or anything. We had like, I don't know, maybe 15 plants, 10 plants, something like that. So that'd be great to have a place to put more of them.
Those things are good.
Oh, they're so good. And the best ones that we had is that we did plant a few what we would call butter beans. Again, we planted like 3 plants back here and about, I don't know how many up front. The ones up front never did do as good. I planted them like in the middle of the summer, like for a second planting, and they didn't do as good as these back here, but only planted 3. But the butter beans mixed with the peas, that was what was good.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just the one mess that we had, I cooked them perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
And then you could see why they call them butter beans. They would just melt in your mouth. They were just so good.
They were very good.
That was just a meal, that and
Cornbread.
a cake of cornbread, yeah. And even better if you had a fresh tomato and a fresh cucumber. It'd be such good eating.
Way long. We'll be eating like that, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I sure do like it.
Yeah. I'm curious to see that really bitter cold weather we had at Christmas that was colder than usual, what it did to my strawberries. They don't look very great.
No.
But I just have to wait and see if any new growth comes out on them. If it'll ever dry up, we'll be able to use the irises to put on here, but it's been so wet. There's been nothing. I mean, we had that one, maybe a day and a half this week that was nice.
Yep.
And then back to the rain. In fact, it rained so much yesterday, a few people told me they were worried about us with the bad weather coming. It was not bad right here at our house. It rained and poured and the wind blew, but the power went off for about 2 hours maybe, and then it come back on. But Matt was at work in Murphy, and it was much worse there.
Yeah, it was pretty high winds, lots and lots of rain. The tornado sirens were activated. I never did hear whether there's a tornado or not, but it's kind of eerie.
Yeah, I bet.
Hearing that, and
Yeah.
you can look out the window and see the trees bent over at a 45.
Yeah.
What you could see of them. It was raining sideways. Then there was a couple of landslides in town, or one in town and then one just out of town. Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I hope nobody was injured, or we didn't ever hear, like Matt said, if there was a tornado. I hope that nothing was damaged too bad. Typically, for whatever reason, the way the nature of things, bad storms that come through this area, they typically do go through that part of, through Murphy and below Murphy, we would say. I don't know if that's technically below Murphy, but
They almost always
go
north
that
of
way.
here.
Yeah.
About 10 miles north of here. That's and they all follow that same path
Yeah,
for some reason.
Right. So typically we don't have terrible damage right here. And those same storms that come through here, of course, come through a lot of different places, but they went right on past us on out towards Papal so he had his power still off and broke some trees down in his yard and around his house.
Yep.
So those were definitely some mean storms. This time of the year is when, though, you got to worry about that, when it's going, the two, the warmth and the cold, trying to fight it out.
Beginning the change over
Yeah.
the seasons, it's always stormy.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you dropped by on this March day to help us celebrate Appalachia, which is a whole lot for us, is making a garden. All this preparation is really wonderful for me and Matt because we know the bounty that it's going to produce and how wonderful it's going to be for our family, all of us to eat, but then have to put up to eat through the coming winter. And just brings us joy. So we're always glad when you stop by to visit with us. Why don't you just sit in the sunshine? That'll be good for you, but the sunshine's gone.
I was in it for a while.
Yeah.
Ain't much sunshine here this time of year.
No, I know. I need you to fix that fan though in the
I
greenhouse.
done did.
Oh, did you? What was wrong with
It's
it?
on a thermostat, and you just got to turn the thermostat to the direction that
Well, maybe I was turning it the wrong direction. I did turn it.
whatever in the cooler part of the year like now,
Yeah.
you turn it cooler, and it'll come on. I mean, I turned it back. In other words, if you set it at like 85 degrees, like you would in the summer,
It's never
it
gonna
ain't
get
never
there,
getting up there,
right.
so it ain't
Yeah,
coming on.
Right, I got you.
So I turned it back to about 75 for now, and
Okay.
it'll probably get that hot in there in the middle of the day when the sun shines in it.
Well, I did turn it back, but I probably didn't turn it. I
Right.
probably got to about 80 and quit, or
Yeah.
whatever, 79 that day when it was warm.
Right.
Yeah.
I can put you a note on the wall in there so you'll remember.
Okay.
And draw you a little cartoon.
Please do that. And draw me directions, and
Draw
so
you
I won't forget.
A little cartoon with you and your little cup and arrows
Yeah.
going which way
Okay.
to turn it on.
I would appreciate that if you do that for me.
Let me do it in a crayon,
No, I want it in pencil drawing.
pencil drawing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll work on that tonight.
Yeah. Or get me a whiteboard and you could just put it up there and put my directions, and then when you can erase it that way and put me some more directions when you find them.
Got to do that in the house too.
Yeah. Yeah, you do that.
I'm afraid I'd get hit in the face with a whiteboard by somebody. I ain't real smart, but I'm smarter than that.
Are you ready for a hamburger?
I guess. What time is it? Gosh, it's about to get supper time.
I know. I need to go feed the chickens.
I need to go sit down.
Why don't you go take a bath and get you a cough drop and sit down. And
Yeah.
get you some honey and lemon in a cup of hot water. Make Katie make you one of her teas before you go to bed.
I was going to make some pine needle tea today to get the vitamins out of it, but I just never got there.
You can still make it. It ain't too late.
Yeah.
Let me grab you a limb before I come in.
Yeah, if you want to. Or I can get it. You don't have to get it.
Well, I'm going to go over there and feed the chickens. I can get one behind there.
All right. Just don't drag it through the chicken lot.
I'll try to
before you
get
bring
through
it to
this
me.
mud pile when I come back, through the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
The beds look good.
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to start putting stuff in them. Like where they're setting, can I start putting wood and stuff in them, or no?
Well, I kind of thought, I just set them up there. I figured when we get ready to start putting the dirt in them, I would take a little more pains with getting them set right.
Okay.
So we might ought to hold off on that. I can dig and level them a little bit better as we're going along.
Okay.
Just do one at a time as we're putting stuff in it. Because we'll probably end up posting the sides of it maybe.
If the weather cooperates, I think next weekend's a good time to plant our taters. Could plant a whole thing of those in there. That'd grow a lot of taters in one of them.
Yeah, it would. I mean, they work good in the grow bags.
Yeah, I've got them. That's what I bought them. That's what I was thinking was the grow bags, but I want to buy some. I think it seems like Debbie told me they had them. I want to buy some white sweet potatoes and grow them.
Mm-hmm.
It's been years since we grew sweet potatoes, but they did pretty good.
Yeah. They are good.
Man, I'd like to have a place where I could grow a 50-foot long row of them.
We used to have it down.
Orange taters and sweet potatoes.
Gosh, it'd work you though, a big long row of potatoes.
I know.
Healing them, it's a lot of work when you do it with a hoe like we did.
Yeah, I know.
But I'd still do it just so we could have them. Or I've tried to do it. I don't know how well I do at it now.
I'm sure you do fine. Just have you a 50-foot long row of grow bags. Do them that way.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You could just fill the entire yard with nothing but grow bags.
You have to
And
walk
then-
on them.
Well, we wouldn't even have to walk. We'd just set them side by side, and we'd just like have a chairlift that went over top of them.
over top of them.
We could just stop and reach down and work them, and we could
Yeah.
stop, and we could ride the chairlift all the way around to the chickens to feed them.
We could have grow bags and then have a maze through it.
Yeah.
You have to have it big enough for your wheelbarrow, though,
Yeah.
or your wagon. So I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
Well, that way you'd be using every inch of it.
Yeah. I don't think it's fit for now is to mow.
I know.
I
It's
hate
going, look
mowing.
at that. It's going to be long before we're going to be mowing
It's
it.
already green. What ain't tore up?
Yeah, what ain't tore up this year? A lot of it's tore up. Yes?
I can try your rock cut.
Okay.
I'm not done. This is only my first. That was the first piece off, but this is the next piece.
Did the
What-
bolt work on the saw better?
It's much better.
What kinds do you know?
Those are garnets.
Garnets. Woo!
They're just. I mean, it's not like they're real high grade or nothing.
No, but they're pretty. That I see the pink in them.
Mhm.
That's what that is.
everything there's got garnets. But some of it you would be able to cut and it would hold together like that, and some of it you can't. But that's
what I
pretty
was going
solid.
to ask. This is not brittle. This would you could
It'll hold together.
You could hold it.
Neat.
Looks like
Very
a little
cool.
loaf of bread.
That's awesome. I like the different colors where it's like black.
Oh yeah, but I love all
blue
those
kinda-
pink spots in
And
it.
that's rather solid. That'll actually take a high polish as well. Polish up pretty good.
That's pretty.
It's neat.
Almost looks like a, like an animal print.
Yeah, like cheetah
Yeah.
or leopard print.
Yeah.
It is cool. It's cool that it's solid enough to actually. It'll sit there and cut all day long. I cut a piece one time and sold it. Or, I mean, just a different piece, not out of this rock, but it is pretty cool. Let's see, this would have went in there like, well, either way, it'll fit in there because
Yeah.
it's the first two slabs. That's pretty cool. I'm
Nice.
pretty pleased with that. You can actually see through it a little bit.
So will the next slab be wider?
It'll be bigger and bigger and bigger as it gets to a certain point, and then it'll start going
Start
down
going
again.
backwards.
But the next one will be quite a bit bigger than this one. And this is just that outside edge. You can still see.
So what would you call that though? Like, I mean, when you sell it, what would you call it?
Usually when you do localized material like this, and it's
Yeah.
not something that people know really well,
Yeah.
you state like mineralogically what you think it is, and then state where it came from. So like I would probably call this, I might say garnet and matrix from Western Carolina, or I might say like, I believe this material it's in is what something like kind of like what they would call schist. It's just a metamorphic rock. So I might even say like garnet and schist matrix, Western North Carolina. It's helpful to state where it come from because people who know anything about rocks
Yeah.
understand the locale.
Right.
Since it's
So would you make note that those are garnets in it, or
I
that's
would,
not
yeah,
really?
people would know. I would just
Yeah.
say like garnet and matrix, garnet and schist,
Yeah.
whatever, garnet formation.
Nice.
That's the most solid material I've cut out of there yet.
Cool.
Yeah. And now everything works good because of my new bolt. Thank you.
You're
And my
welcome.
ratchet. That's dedicated to me now. My wrench.
I forgot you done that today too. You've had a busy day today.
And it's not done yet. I want to come up with another list.
I was telling him to go in and take a bath and
I'm fixing to.
sit down.
Well, that sounds like good. And then Mama can cook us some hamburgers.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, what fun!
Yeah. I know you was wanting a hamburger. Hambingers?
Hamburgers.
Alright, let's go. You get up, you need help?
Yeah, I can get it.
Oh, you're not. You're so crazy. Are you stuck?
No.